Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
Haha, welcome. This is the Sports Trapp Podcast, and my name is John Trapp. And as always, my man, to my right, Christopher C. Rodriguez. How you doing, sir?
Told myself I had to stay up. What it do, Houston?
Mr. Khoa on the ones and twos, Wizard of Oz himself. No more Santa Claus.
Or better yet, quantum physics.
There you go.
The math scientist.
Man, it feels good to be back. Had to take a little hiatus. Had to peep in with a phone call, but hey, man, my boys hold it down. Appreciate you showing me love, showing H-Town love. We gotta keep it going, man. We can't let this momentum go for waste.
Hey,
Let's
John,
do this.
John, I mean, somebody had to be great. Why not me?
I love it. That quote was so classic, and he is referring to the huge game Houston Texans just got done demolishing, or should I say, beating the curse. I want to say it was kind of like a curse-lifting game versus the Buffalo Bills. So many replays of the Houston Oilers versus the Buffalo Bills the last time they met.
Yeah, it was 1993, which is considered the comeback game. It was a 32-point deficit. I remember this game specifically because I've never cried so hard ever in my life of a game, and I threw away all my Oilers stuff.
Oh.
I was so heartbroken. Only hours later to get all my stuff out the trash can, and love you, Blue, always. So it was beautiful.
I tell you what, somebody said, is this game even now? Are we even now with the Buffalo Bills? I don't know. I want to answer that question. I will ask you, the expert of 1993, a little later, because the Houston Texans did come back from 16 points down, beating the Buffalo Bills once again, 19-22 in overtime. He was quoting Deshaun, the man, number 4, Watson. He had an amazing game, but we'll get into that. And I'll be remiss to mention the other NFL games. We got potentially Brady's last Patriot game.
I got some new predictions for that too.
And can we say that the AFC South was a little bit better than what we thought it was going to be?
Well, I definitely did. Me and Khoa talked about it last week. We really thought that the Tennessee Titans had the most momentum going into the playoffs, and it goes back to our football preview. We said that the team to watch was the Tennessee Titans, especially with Derrick Henry. And Tannehill.
For sure. I think Derrick Henry rushed the most rushing yardage against Bill Belichick ever. The boy was a beast. And Minnesota, man, we've gone back and forth already. Minnesota defeats the Saints in overtime.
Who that
gonna beat the Saints?
The Vikings.
Oh, man. Offensive pass interference, was it?
It's a push-off.
Are the overtime rules fair?
Nah, it is what it is, man. They got whoever scores first. Or they get a chance to score. You got to stop. You got to play defense. It is what it is.
And the depleted teams that represent birds in the NFC, the Seahawks down, the Philadelphia Eagles, Fly Eagles. I guess they ain't flying no more.
Yeah, the Seattle Seahawks beat the Green Cowboys. It is what it is.
So was that the play that knocked out Carson Wentz after 2 drives? Was that a little dirty by Clowney?
I don't think it was. I mean, defenders are taught that you continue to go for the tackle until the man's down. Wentz is known to run. He is agile, quick. This is a very athletic man who's going for the tackle. He's trying to do what he wants. I think it's just that it's easier to demonize that play, especially when you slow it down 100 million times. And it just seems like he's trying to be dirty, but obviously he was trying to make sure that he was down on the ground. I mean, it only takes, we saw what happened with Deshaun Watson. He got hit hard twice by 2 defenders and he was still on his feet. So, right. You just can't take a chance. This is playoffs. It's playoffs. Playoffs.
Did somebody mention the playoffs to the Dallas Cowboys? Because I don't think they even realize that the playoffs are going on because they got to be in the news. They got to be in the news. Jason Garrett was officially no longer a part of the future of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
that was kind of weird.
We were both wrong. You thought he would be fired that Sunday, the last game. I told you it'd be Monday, and it took almost 2 fucking weeks for him to be fired. So, even with that being said, I mean, if you're a Cowboys fan, Cowboys Nation, man, could this be the beginning that Jerry Jones is going to finally step back and let the new coach McCarthy actually coach?
Well, Mike McCarthy gets hired on, and apparently he's going to be able to pick his own staff, which is a huge plus. Got Nolan as his defensive coordinator already coming in. Jim Haslett was a guy that was his road dog. I remember seeing an ESPN interview where Mike McCarthy was, I mean, I can't really speak on the man's emotions, but he was crying. His family needed this. So, hey, I tell you what, if I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm still not saying no to those that star in the helmet. You know, that's if he does win, whew, what does that do to his legacy? You know?
I mean, I think if you're a Cowboy fan, you have to finally feel like there's a relief because, you know, a lot of people didn't think Gary was going to be fired. Number 2, we all thought that if he did get a new coach, it was probably going to be some college coach that he can pretty much dictate and determine and, you know, manipulate what Jerry Jones wants to do. But he actually got a proven commodity, in my opinion, with Mike McCarthy because even like I was just looking at this stat right here, it's interesting stat, wins in one possession as far as games where a team is up by 7 or 8 points. Mike McCarthy has won 58 of those win one possession games. And that's just only behind Bill Belichick of 68 and Sean Payton of 62. So you actually have a real quarterback, I mean, a real coach that knows how to coach quarterbacks and has been proven to win. Personally didn't think that he should have been fired in Green Bay, but hey, it is what it is. So, I mean,
the one thing that I'll say to that is Mike McCarthy has never had a propensity to run the ball. But you got one of the best running backs in the game right now, in Ezekiel Elliott. Well, so we'll see what he does with that.
I think he'll even like use Zeke in a lot more receiving plays like he should be used. I mean, I'm actually kind of excited to see how this actually turns out. I mean, one thing's for sure, there's Amari Cooper coming back because if he doesn't come back, then you're looking at a core of receivers that are not that good. So that to me they have to sign Cooper. You need to have that go-to receiver. Every championship Dallas Cowboy team has always had an elite receiver.
Now, Ezekiel Elliott went to OU the other week, kind of got defeated, but Chris Young is declared for the draft. Defensive end, right?
Yeah.
For OU.
Beast.
Somebody else just declared, Chris. Chrism Tide, quarterback. Potentially, before the injury, was a number 1 pick.
Number 1, number 2. Yeah, absolutely. I'm really happy for Tua. I think that I thought it was interesting too for them not to not only announce it, but he had Nick Saban right next to him. That just goes to show you how supportive and how happy Nick Saban is for him. You know, I think what ends up happening, you know, I think that Tua goes in the later rounds, and to me, that could actually be the best thing for him because he doesn't have to come to a sorry team that doesn't have an established quarterback already. Maybe have a year or 2 under his belt on the bench learning. I mean, to me, doesn't it seem like this is one of those sneaky Patriots picks?
I knew we were going to say that.
I mean,
I knew we were going to say that.
It's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football history, being under Bill Belichick, with Tom Brady on the brinks of leaving the dynasty. I mean, that would be huge.
Yeah, I want to get back to that in a little bit, but man, I want to talk about this Houston Texans defeat of the Buffalo Bills. Again, we're talking about, did we break the curse? The overtime was so sensational. Deshaun Watson, what more can you say about the man? Debo Sweeney, the coach of the Clemson Tigers, man, he came out and said everybody that passed on him was passing on Michael Jordan.
Absolutely.
In the draft. Hey, up until this point, he's not wrong. the what I've seen Deshaun Watson be able to do, and the way he carried it, like you mentioned, he said at the beginning of the game, let's be great. And he said, if I say it, then I gotta be great. He literally say, why not me? And I love that. I think that should be on a t-shirt. I think we should sell shirts all over Houston. The next game
why not
should
me?
Why not me? Why not me? That's just such an inspirational quote in itself. It should be every seat should be filled with those t-shirts with that slogan, and he should trademark that slogan right now. I really believe that.
Well, I've been harping all year long that the best quarterback in the NFL, and I will say this: we have a core of extremely talented, young, up and coming quarterbacks. But the reasons why I've been saying Deshaun Watson is the best quarterback in the game is for what we just saw recently. When the odds are against you, when
16 down by halftime, a little after halftime,
when your coaching staff is making horrible plays and are not making the right calls in the first half.
We were shut out in the first half.
When you have basically you have to literally put the whole game on your shoulders and lead this team to victory. The reasons why the Houston Texans are even in the playoffs is because of Deshaun Watson. And I said he would be an MVP candidate in spite of his coaching staff, and he's done exactly that. But it's the tangibles. And somebody on ESPN finally said something that I've been saying all year, which is no one's talking about Deshaun Watson. Everyone forgot about how great he was. But if Deshaun Watson was on the Kansas City Chiefs, he would be putting up ridiculous numbers like Mahomes has been doing the last 2 years. But he's not, because he's not on that type of offense where you have a coach that is all in and is being creative with how they move and utilize their quarterback. But for everything that Deshaun Watson has that's going against him, he continues to excel. I mean, those hits that he took with that last game-winning drive, any other quarterback would have fell to the ground. Any other quarterback would have got sacked. They might have even fumbled the ball. But Deshaun Watson said, I told myself I had to stay up. He knew, that tells me right there that he knew the blitz was coming, that there was a chance that he was going to get hit. And the only thing he said in himself, if I can stay up, I will make a fucking play to win and take us to the next round. And that's exactly what he did. That's Michael Jordan mentality.
Oh, man. I saw that play, and all I could type, and I sent the text out, I sent what I could, and all I could say was wow, because I was literally had no words for that play. When he got hit from the left, then taking that blow, gets hit from the right, it almost looked like if the second guy never would have hit him, he would have went down. But the second guy hits him, almost looks like it keeps him on his feet. I thought, when he got hit, I was still like, throw it away. And he actually completes a pass
to Taiwan. How do you say his name? That
Taiwan Jones.
Taiwan Jones. Who's?
I didn't even know who he was before that play.
Well, no, I saw who he was. I was actually surprised. The last game when they played against Tennessee Titans, he was in there. And he was just killing everybody because he was so speedy and so elusive. And I'm glad they actually had him in there because, sorry to say this, but our other two running backs, they have bad habits of,
giving up on a play. Deshaun Watson told Taiwan Jones, just, stay up. Not necessarily stay up,
but be ready.
But yeah, exactly. Be ready. So I'll say this, man, the whole place that I was in watching this game, everybody looked at each other and was like, who's Taiwan Jones? Because we're so used to seeing, Carlos and Duke Johnson. So it's just, I was shocked. The play in itself won the game to me. Like that,
Absolutely.
that one.
Well, and I tell you how amazing this game was, not just for the Houston Texans, not for the livelihood of Bill O'Brien as a coach, but also for the city of Houston, is that this team was so inspired by the play of
J.J. Watt.
of Deshaun Watson that they completely forgot about how incredible J.J. Watt was in the second half and what he did and how he ended up playing more reps than he expected. He actually caused – and this just shows how great he is. This is a man who should have been out for another 6 months out there.
He looked good, though. He looked good.
Dude,
he looked
out
like
there,
after the first half, he looked like a little old.
That sack was huge, and then a couple of those disruption plays is like you don't. And that's a great thing about having a one of the greatest pass rushers of all time. You don't have to hit the quarterback to cause the quarterback to throw or just do stupid plays. But you know, this was a morale booster from all accounts, and you have to like your odds going into Kansas City Chiefs. I can tell you this: Kansas City wasn't looking to play the Texans again.
Right.
They were looking to play the New England Patriots because they know they can beat the New England Patriots. And so this is going to be interesting. But I will say this.
They sure were. They were hoping for New England.
They were hoping for New England. Because we all know, we'll go into that. But they did not expect to have to play the Texans, who are going to be physical and who can score.
We know how we're going to come out.
Absolutely.
We know we're gonna run the ball down their throats, and you know, of course, we're speaking on Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt. We know what they're gonna bring, but the biggest question mark to me, and I hate to be a downer, is
Fuller.
No. But listen. To be available is an ability, and Fuller has so many muscle injuries that it baffles me.
Soft tissue.
Here, the biggest question mark, besides Will Fuller, is the coaching. Because when they have the responsibility of scripting up plays, we've already seen it once where they go a goose egg in the first half. It takes masterful play, some just off the cuff imagination by Deshaun Watson just to get us down the field. And it takes a comeback from the cool veteran Captain America, J.J. Watt, for us to get defensively up on the Buffalo Bills when they scored 16 points. Then the rest of the game, they scored 3. And that goes a lot to, I'll give props to Merciless. I give props to J.J. Watt. I even give props to our DBs. All of them in the second half came to play. Again, 3 points in the second half. My biggest fear is the coaches won't get out of their own way.
Well, the team that is dead near last in first half production is the Houston Texans. For whatever reasons, it's been something that's plagued them all year long.
All season.
But I will say this. One of the few games where they had full control from the first quarter to the end was against the Kansas City Chiefs and the New England Patriots. And here's why I think that I'm not necessarily concerned too much. I'm a little concerned because it is Bill O'Brien. He has a habit of overthinking or not thinking at all. It's either one of the two. But the key of beating the Kansas City Chiefs is being physical, beating them in the trenches, and running the ball down their throats. It's probably one of the easiest game plans you could have. The thing is that if you don't set the tone, you can't go down 16-0 to the Kansas City Chiefs and expect to. You might catch up, but you're not winning the game.
Right.
And that's the key. They have to keep this game in the trenches, and they have to make Mahomes as uncomfortable as possible.
Exactly.
And listen, there's talks that Fuller is going to play. He needs to play because Fuller opens up and sets up not only Hopkins, but steals our tight ends who are like 6'7". And then you add in Duke Johnson. You add in Taiwan. They're going to probably use him a lot more. No one's really seen him at all. He's a change of back. I think that the Texans, if they just go in there, set the tone from the moment the kickoff happens, and if they can keep it close, geez, you have to like our chances with Deshaun, Michael Jordan, Watson.
I just thought this set up to be the perfect scenario for the Houston Texans.
Absolutely.
I remember on the phone call, which I didn't think it was going to happen, especially with the Patriots and the Titans. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't believe the Titans. I thought the Titans were gonna give them a hell of a game over the Patriots, but My man to my right, he got it right all along. Him and Khoa said Titans. Actually, Khoa flipped at the end.
Oh, he did.
But yeah, no, I thought that with the experience and of course the legend Tom Brady, I thought that the Patriots gonna eke it out. And as soon as I saw Tom Brady get the ball again, I was like, here we go. Julian Edelman, wide open, third and 11, had all kinds of green in front of him. He just fumbled. You never see that from Julian Edelman. Not fumble, but he bobbled the ball and incomplete pass happened, and it was all downhill from there.
I think the reason why that happened is because, again, there's two teams. Actually, there's three teams from the AFC that no one put any respect on. We got lost in the Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Patriots, and their dynasty. To me, those are the three teams that nobody really wanted to play. Buffalo was damn near almost walked in to the next round. Josh Allen was phenomenal in that game. The first half, he was phenomenal.
Badass.
First half, he had more receiving yards and more touchdowns than Hopkins, right? And the thing is that he shows that in the future, he's going to be something special.
Right.
Buffalo Bills defense, nice. Singletary, nice. He was just cutting us up left from right. Buffalo Bills, no one wanted to play. And I said this in the last show, that the two teams that have so much to prove was the Texans and the Buffalo Bills, and they were playing each other. And I felt like the Texans had a little bit more momentum, that they really wanted to prove themselves. But the other team that nobody wants to talk about and sure in the hell don't want to play, Ravens don't want to play them. Ravens don't want to play them. Why? Because they're nasty. And this is the reason why Edelman and the Patriots lost, because
felt like everybody was gunning for the Patriots. Like they wanted. This is the first time I can remember that everybody wanted to play the Patriots.
Because when you're a shark and you smell blood, you go for the kill.
I think the Patriots lost 3 games, right? Mm-hmm. Texans, Chiefs, and the fucking Ravens.
Listen.
And everybody was gunning for wanting, like they were salivating for them.
And most importantly, the reasons why I have to really, really praise the Tennessee Titans and what they did. Because everyone's saying, oh, Brady didn't have enough weapons. The last couple of years, he hasn't had a lot of weapons, but they've made it. The point being is this. Tennessee is young and fast defensively, young and fast offensively. They have what is a resurrection and probably the most improved quarterback in the NFL in Tannehill.
Well, can just real quick, why is it that they're playing better with Tannehill than they were basically with Mariota?
I'm going to tell you why. This goes back to if you watch college football. Oregon never, ever played any teams that actually had real defenses. He never was able to actually read defenses. There were never any pro-style defenses that Oregon played. Last time I checked, did Oregon win a national championship?
Not yet.
Hell no. Every time they had to play somebody that actually had a defense, they lost. Mariota was a system quarterback. Right? That's why. Tannehill comes from Texas A&M. He's a freak athlete.
Yeah, wide receiver turned quarterback.
Who has a great arm. And he's been through a lot already in his career.
I like his attitude.
I love his attitude. But I tell you who makes Tannehill and that rest of those Tennessee Titans feel powerful and feel motivated and feel inspired. And that's Mike motherfucking Vrabel. What he did to Bill Belichick.
Oh, did you see that? Where he was making the same
delay of games doing. He beat Bill Belichick at his own game. And it was funny to see Belichick over there crying, upset, angry. Dude, hey, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I tell you, this team is pumped up.
No mercy.
They have a beast of a running back. To me, I would say top 5 running backs in the NFL right now, has the most yards in the NFL. Derrick Henry looks unstoppable.
Whew. Man.
It's like tackling a train. I wouldn't tackle a train.
He's a big dude. He is a big trunk of a tree type man. And I tell you what, that dude downhill does not look fun to tackle at all.
I think we're about to see honestly about to see what I feel like reminds me of when Alabama played LSU a couple years back between the Ravens and the Tennessee Titans. It is going to be
a slobber knocker.
It is going to be. Listen, whoever gets out of that is probably going to be the most beatable, because they're going to have a lot of. I just feel like they're all going to be super tired and sore.
That's a grimy game.
It's going to be a nasty, grimy game.
Kind of want it to be kind of rainy, muddy.
It probably is. That speaks Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson.
You being an Alabama fan.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. Mark Ingram or Derrick Henry?
Dude, it's going to be sick either way. Listen. Just when you think we're down and out, just when you think that everything has lost reality, listen. If I had to choose, and I don't know if you listened to what I compared the dynasty of Alabama, the first time them losing is comparison to the Patriots, because every year they've been the same thing. They've had the most success. The one team that will continue to be successful is Alabama, especially what they just recently did with recruitment. I can't say the same thing for Bill Belichick, unless he can find another superstar quarterback.
Right.
And we might be looking at the downfall of Patriots for quite some time. But I will say this, it's going to be super exciting because I think that the two running backs that don't get enough respect in the NFL is Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry. We get lost in the Zekes and we get lost in the McCaffreys, that we forget about how good these two quarterbacks are. Listen, what Mark Ingram did this year should have what he had been doing the whole time in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I always said if he just got into a team, that he would be unstoppable. Man, the man's a beast.
Yeah. Okay. Pick time, Chris. Pick time.
I'm excited for this.
Texans versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Who you got, Chris?
Listen, I believe in Deshaun Watson. I've said it from the jump. I believe in him. I believe that if they can keep the game within 6 points, and Deshaun Watson has a chance, I really, really feel they're going to pull another upset. So I'm going with the Houston motherfucking Texans to upset. Now, to everyone's going to be an upset, but to me it's not, because I've never believed in Kansas City. I've always said, you play physical with them, you're going to beat them.
Right.
I like the Texans to upset the Kansas City Chiefs. I like the upset. I'm not going to put a score on it. I just like them to upset. I think Deshaun Watson he's built for this, man. He really is.
And Khoa, I'm going to go ahead because I already know.
You already know he's picking.
Khoa's picking the Texans. All right.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so here's my dilemma. We had this discussion all year long. Who's the best quarterback in the NFL, especially in the AFC side? I had Mahomes, and you and Khoa had Deshaun Watson, of course. You know, some Russell Wilson talk. Lamar Jackson, of course, you know, he's clearly the MVP. But when it came down to that one game, it's hard for me not to say Deshaun Watson. I'm going to put it on wax. I got to go with the Houston Texans. Yes, it's a fucking upset. Everybody's rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I even said at the beginning of this of the year in the NFL preview, I got to hold myself to the flame. I said the Kansas City Chiefs were going to repeat, go all the way to the AFC Championship, go all the way to the Super Bowl. But I think they get stopped. What is it, Saturday or Sunday?
I think the game is Saturday. Let's see. Hold on.
I think they get stopped by the Houston Texans. Bulls on parade, baby.
Oh, they play Sunday.
Sunday at
2:05 p.m.
Woo! I think that's Eastern time, but 3 o'clock probably, most likely. Is it in?
It's in Kansas.
Is this Kansas City? It looks weird on the computer screen, but man, I think that when you got Deshaun Watson on your team, you can never count him out. I think it's true. You got to keep it close and just give us a chance. Give us a chance in the game. Put the ball in Deshaun Watson's hands. I honestly don't think that the Kansas City Chiefs have nearly as good as a defense as the Buffalo Bills, but they have been playing better as of late.
And they did add Terrell Suggs, which that could be equalizer right there. We talked about that. Right. He could have been playing for the Texans,
I'd rather
but
have
hey,
J.J. Watt. No offense.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Now
I'm so pumped up for that.
The Titans probably just took out Tom Brady and the Patriots from ever playing again together. Mm-hmm. But they're going to Baltimore to play the Ravens. Mm-hmm. Chris, C-Rod Rodriguez, who you got, sir?
Woo, man. I thought I was excited about the Texans versus the Kansas City Chiefs. But I'm a defensive guy. I'm a run the ball type of guy. I'm the, field advantage, coaching strategy. You have too young. Well, John Harbaugh is not young anymore. But John Harbaugh is definitely, I think, obviously a better coach than his brother. I'll leave that one to the side. But, man, I will say this. We don't know how Lamar Jackson is going to play when he's in a situation that Deshaun Watson's been the whole year. We have never seen that. For the most part, they've dominated and beaten the teams. And even when the close games have been, they have just been that much better with their run game. But this is the fucking playoffs. And it's all about momentum. And if there's a team that shouldn't have been sitting down, man, it's the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I like to think that the Baltimore Ravens have been able to heal up. Mark Ingram, hopefully he's going to be 100% healthy because I want 100% healthy Ingram. But, man, I don't know why I feel like there's something special about the Tennessee Titans.
Really?
And Derrick Henry. I don't know. It's just a really tough one for me because I really like both teams. And we could talk about quarterback play, but at this point, the second half of the season, Tannehill's been playing just as good as Lamar Jackson. The defenses are about equal. Secondary, the receivers are. I will say this: Tennessee does have better receivers than Baltimore. Man, I don't know. I think this is going to be probably one of the closest games. I probably think this is going to be considered one of the best games. I think both these games are going to be one of the best games we've seen all year. My heart's telling me Tennessee Titans, but my mind is telling me the Baltimore Ravens. So
I'll tell you what. I don't know if this makes your pick easier or better. But, man, just like you think the Titans are special, in the second half the Titans were phenomenal. The Ravens, to me, is overall they're a better team. The only chance that I think that the Titans actually have is if Marcus Mariota, in practice, he plays Lamar Jackson. The way Lamar Jackson runs with the ball, it really can't be replicated, but for Titans' sake, they need as much practice with somebody that's elusive, that's speedy, they
got fast linebackers. I will say this. Tennessee has very fast linebackers. They're very athletic.
I never like to say this, but the only chance that I think the Titans have is if Lamar Jackson somehow gets knocked out of the game. And I would hate for something like that to happen to him. Personally, I think the best of the best, I always want to see it, whether it's against my team or not, whether it's for my pick or not. I never want to see anybody injured. I never want to see somebody go out, even if it's in my favor. But Lamar Jackson's special, man. Special. You say Deshaun Watson special. Lamar Jackson all year long, man, hasn't been able to be stopped at all.
Oh, man.
1,000 yards rushing.
You're right.
Breaks Mike and Vic's record.
You're right.
Now, like I said, I think when it comes down to it, I hope it's a slobber knocker. I hope it's rainy, wet, all that stuff. I want to see a grimy game. But you got Earl Thomas on the defensive end. You got Lamar Jackson on the offensive end, coupled with Mark Ingram, Hollywood Brown. All you got to do is stop Henry. And I'm not saying that's easy, but that's pretty much the game right there. So I'm going to go with Baltimore.
You can go with Baltimore?
Yeah.
All right. Listen, Lamar Jackson's phenomenal. He did play in Louisville. And if I'm going to harp and go hard on Mahomes playing for Texas Tech and him not ever having to play in true physical games, I know that Tennessee Titans played the Ravens really, really hard that last game. And I really, truly feel the Ravens were not expecting to have to see Tennessee Titans again. I think this is a trench. Whoever controls the trenches, whoever controls the offensive line, the defensive line, and whoever is the most physical will win. There is something about these Tennessee Titans that tells me that if they can get into Lamar Jackson's ass and get physical, Lamar Jackson's going to have a long, long day. I like the underdog here. I'm going with the Tennessee Titans by a field goal.
Ooh. Man, I tell you what.
I don't want them to lose, but it's just when you see these perfect, out of this world offenses, this team reminds me, with the exception of the quarterbacks, but this team and the way they played all year long reminds me a lot of the Los Angeles Rams last year. They seemed like the most complete team until they played a team that was able to be more physical than them.
Right.
I wish this was actually, like, if I had a wish, like, of course I want the Texans to go to the finals, but if I had an AFC finals, this would be a great AFC finals because both teams are really good. I think the Ravens are the most complete team. I think they are a better team than the Tennessee Titans. But the Titans, this is a brand new season. They have the most momentum. They have played the best going into the second half. And don't let that record of 9-7 fool you. This team is set up to be successful. I think this is one of those situations where if the Ravens do lose, it's heartbreak, but they get that much better next year to be an extremely dominant force. I just feel that way.
Well, Lamar Jackson's going to be special for a while as long as he stays healthy. And I think that he's something that we haven't seen yet. And I hate to say that because, I'm big for not comparing Michael Vick to him. I'm big for not comparing Colin Kaepernick to him. But I think he's a better version of both of those players. More accurate. His throws are actually to me, his throws are smarter. He throws it in better, not necessarily. I think he's efficient. He doesn't have to throw 40 times a game, but when he does, it's like, damn, it's almost a touchdown. It's like so scary. It's almost a video game. Like they say, he's a cheat code. But
can I say this real fast?
Go for it.
There's also this homer in me. I'm pulling a Khoa that I really want the Tennessee Titans to beat the Baltimore Ravens because I really feel in my heart of hearts that Deshaun Watson is going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs and get us to the AFC Championship. And I feel like we have a better chance against the Tennessee Titans going to the Super Bowl than having to play against the Ravens. We saw what the Ravens did to us. They tore us up. I mean, they're just...
Well... No,
the matchup wise.
I yes, you're right. But I truly believe that one play where we didn't get our defensive interference called changed the game.
Maybe.
I mean, that was just ridiculous.
I saw the final score. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah, no.
So
but
I want to pick the Ravens because they are one of my favorite teams. I did their complete team. I love their style, but I'm gonna just ignore all logic here, and I'm picking the Tennessee Titans.
All right. We got to move on. The NFC side, we all know what happened. Now, there's two things I want to get to real quick. Minnesota defeats New Orleans, the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans in the Superdome, 26-20 in overtime. Great game. Also, Seattle Seahawks defeat the Philadelphia Eagles 17-9. There's two things between those two games. One, are you still? Yeah, you've always said you were cool with the overtime, right? You picking the Saints in this game. Are you still good with overtime? The way it's set up in the NFL, where the first touchdown wins, no matter who gets the ball, and if you get the ball, they get the ball. Any score wins? I
think at the end of the day, you can both. It's always a losing team that wants to argue this that the overtime rules are unfair.
Okay.
So in the NFL, it's about a team effort all across the board. So you got to be able to play offense, and you sure hell's got to be able to play defense. So New Orleans had the ability to stop them. They didn't. They scored a touchdown. It is what it is. Now, if they hit the field goal, of course, New Orleans Saints has a second chance. But to me, forget the whole if they score, I get a chance to score regardless if it's a touchdown or not. I mean, can it be true to say that New Orleans Saints can't catch a break when it comes to pass interference?
Yes, it's very true. I honestly, that's the second thing I wanted to get to. I honestly wanted to ask you this. Pass interference in the NFL, to me, has hurt, or the pass interference ruling or the rule change, however you want to look at it. No other team has been hurt worse throughout the season than the New Orleans Saints. I feel like the referees almost got it out for them.
Man, I mean, maybe the New Orleans Saints need to change the name because maybe they really don't have God behind them with the whole Saint thing. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, we all can agree that the whole point of adding the challenge of the pass interference was because of a blatant missed call. You see how close I am to you? That's how close the referee was last year in one of the most important games, and cost the New Orleans Saints to go to the Super Bowl, which I honestly think they would have beaten the Patriots. Personally, they were the best team. And here we go again, offensive pass interference,
not called.
Clearly, big push off by Rudolph, and Rudolph didn't even have to push off because he had the height and advantage. And it was actually a really good ball thrown by Cousins. But hey, the flag wasn't thrown. They didn't even challenge it. They couldn't even challenge it. And then, the NFL does have the ability to review it, right? They didn't even review it. They're like, touchdown, game over. Man, if you're a New Orleans Saints fan, I feel really, really bad for you. I heartbreak, but at the same time, I told John, where was the coaching staff to notice the one-on-one between a smaller size DB against Rudolph? The coaches should have called the timeout and cause a change in the play as far as how the defense was going to be run. It was almost as if they just invited them to throw that ball. And even without the push-off, it was still a perfectly thrown ball where Rudolph, who has a size advantage, was probably going to catch that ball. So we can blame the referees, which I will say was definitely an offensive pass interference. But at the same time, why wasn't there a timeout when you noticed the one-on-one on the left-hand side? I mean, it just didn't make sense. That's the first thing I noticed. But hey.
Well, Sean Payton, the coach for the Saints, he's not known for defense. And hey, listen, shoulda, coulda, woulda, I get it. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to that one play, you could say offensive pass interference all you want. I just want an opportunity to come down the field and score a touchdown if I need to. Overtime rules baffle me in the NFL.
I guess it was way worse back in the days where it was the first team who ever scored. It was
I thought it was bad too, especially growing up. I don't understand, no offense, but you don't understand coming from college. Now, I don't want ridiculous scores like college football.
It's stupid, trust me. Watching a college football game and you're at the 20-yard line, you're going back and forth.
Right.
It's for those who love offense, is great.
Right.
But this is why this is the NFL.
I don't even want grown men that's already taken a beating through 4 quarters. Have to go and play an entire quarter. I don't want that either. But at the end of the day, if your offense gets a chance, my offense gets a chance, then we can say, okay, remember when we're playing, we're playing 21, right? Mm-hmm. And you go up half a point. I get a chance to score. If you're playing beer pong, you get redemption. NFL doesn't think that's even necessary.
I mean, listen. Again, the people who cry about this are normally the teams that lose. We all picked the Saints to win. You said it earlier. Saints should have won, but they were shut out the first half. Drew Brees was shut down.
You talking about? Oh yeah. No, well, they weren't shut out, but Drew Brees was essentially shut down.
So one of the best offensive minds, and it was not prepared to play the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings came and played their A game. Right. They took it to them. They beat them in the trenches. And I'm sorry. Here's the thing: is that in the NFL, and I am a biggest component of defense. You can't win a championship if you don't have a defense and you can't make defensive stops. There's a reasons why the elites, the two best teams in NFL right now are who? The 49ers.
49ers.
And the Baltimore Ravens. And they both have one and two best defenses, and they know how to shut teams down. They also know how to score. They're a complete team. When you look at Kansas City Chiefs, great offensively. But what can't they not do?
Make a stop when they need it.
So
that's what happened last year with the Patriots versus the Chiefs in the
Saints had opportunities to make stops, and they didn't make the crucial stops.
All I'm saying is give me the ball back. Let me get the ball back.
They lost. Shouldn't have been overtime.
Listen, DK Metcalf is a man.
Baller.
A man.
Baller.
Marshawn Lynch. I don't
Skittles.
understand how somebody who's been out a year, almost 2 years now, right, can come back and physically be able to run in the NFL, not only run at at least an average. Just being average is great in his position.
Yeah.
Right? To be that great at that time, this time of year, then score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Right?
2 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks.
Then you got probably, if you gave me a gun to my head and you said one drive, one chance, one opportunity to score a touchdown, of all the quarterbacks in the NFL,
Russell Wilson. Man.
I think I'm choosing Russell Wilson. There's nobody that has a bigger heart, a bigger motivation to play the position. Not to say that anything derogatory about any other quarterback in the NFL, but dude, he reminds me and literally has the same number of like an Allen Iverson as a quarterback. There's nothing this man can't do.
He has a brilliant football IQ, football mind, the way he sees the field. He never runs to run. He runs to slide or to extend the play to get his super talented receivers wide open. He gives them enough time. You know?
I just wish he did not play on the Seattle Seahawks. I wish I didn't get to see him 2 times a year.
No,
Right.
those teams. Man, they obviously we knew that they were gonna beat the Philadelphia Eagles. That was probably the worst division. We knew that they were gonna win. Now they have to go in Green Bay. And Green Bay, to me, that's another team that I feel like shouldn't have been out for so long. Green Bay, their whole game is all about the run game.
You did say that the momentum, well, not necessarily, you alluded to the momentum of Baltimore being out for 2 weeks is going to hinder them. So you think the same thing with Green Bay?
Absolutely. Especially when they have no receivers other than Deontay Adams.
Right.
And he struggled all year long getting the ball.
Well, he struggled just getting on the field.
So now,
it's not the Legion of Boom, but it's still there. I mean, it's still Griffin.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, their secondary questionable. But their rush is not questionable, and the ability to stop the run is not questionable. They can get with you know that the Seahawks are always come prepared. They have one of the best coaches of all time.
Right.
College, NFL.
What?
He's one of the best.
You think so?
Absolutely.
I'm not there yet.
Listen, John. Come on now, man. You know how hard it is to win successfully in the college and then transfer over to the NFL?
Man, you know what? I don't know if anybody has done it better. I mean, to be honest with you,
What's his name? I just want to hear you say his name.
Pete Carroll.
Okay, I just want to hear you say it.
And it's funny because I wasn't a Pete Carroll fan when he went. Was he at USC when he beat? You know, the Texas Longhorns beat him.
They had a little dynasty
there. They beat Stanford, who everybody knows. Anybody that knows me, I'm a big Jim Harbaugh fan.
Shouldn't be.
That was a great rivalry between the two. Then this motherfucker joins Seattle. Then Jim Harbaugh goes and joins San Francisco. Now I got to see this motherfucker twice a year.
Chewing that gum.
Oh my God. There ain't nobody chew gum harder.
Over there, just like, he's like a kid, man.
Again, I'm not sold on Pete Carroll. But
You
respect.
a damn liar. Yeah, listen.
I just gave him every reason why.
Hey, put your red and gold to the side, man. You got to give that man props.
That's right, baby.
That's
right.
Put it to the side, man. Pete Carroll, you know, and I both know that Pete Carroll is a coach that anybody would want to have on their team. I mean, he's so good with the players, so motivational. He should be 2-time champion, but you know he made a bad call with not giving the ball to Lynch, anyways. So that's old. That's old.
Well, he got him back. Redemption.
Listen, hey, I think that it just feels like it needs to be the 49ers and Seattle Seahawks again.
Oh, wait. Before we jump the gun, because we're gonna get into that. And I've been waiting, I've been dying, I've been holding on to this all day. Even actually after the games, right after the games. I didn't text Chris, I didn't say shit to Chris, because I really want his honest opinion. But going back to the this Seattle Philly game, Carson Wentz played 2 drives all day, and he was out for the rest of the game. Now, Carson Wentz was getting sacked. He was avoiding a sack, gets hit by one guy. Looks like he was going down. Clowney just wanted to make sure on his way down he didn't have the propensity to maybe put his hand down, get back up, and go for the rush.
Wentz can run. He's an agile quarterback.
Make sure you're down.
Yeah. He did what he was supposed to do. He did what he got paid to do.
Shoulder to the back of the head, back of the neck, or this area, concussion. Out for the rest of the game. Was it dirty, Chris?
No, it wasn't dirty. It was a football play.
Come on, Chris.
It was a football play.
Let's be honest.
It was not dirty at all.
Clowney gave it a little extra oomph.
Dude, it feels that way when you watch it a million times in slow mo. Absolutely, everything always looks worse in slow mo.
Actually, I thought it didn't look too bad.
It wasn't. Listen, people are reacting because at the end of the day, people always want to call it the dogs and call them dogs. If Clowney was on your team, you'd have been like, "That's a great hit." It wasn't. Listen, listen. You are taught. You are taught they are not down until they are on the ground.
Right.
And this late, we just saw what happened with Deshaun Watson.
Right.
2 incredible defenders.
Right.
Come and smack the hell out of Deshaun Watson.
Looked like a tornado.
And he stayed up. Clowney wasn't having that at all.
Nope.
Wentz is going down, he's going down. And the thing about this is that 9 times out of 10, Wentz gets back up. It was just one of those plays where he got hit exactly the perfect spot. This happens all the time.
It does. And that's the thing. I will say this. NFL, that happens all the time. And, you know, Chris is right. When it comes down to Deshaun Watson had a couple plays, to be honest, throughout the year where they blow the whistle dead, and he wasn't necessarily down. Now, hey, the other team got bailed out. I'll say that. But in this situation, I do think it was a little extra, but can you blame him? That's the only thing. Like, you can't necessarily blame him. You got to make sure he's down, and that's the way the NFL works.
What happened in a couple of years back when Minnesota upset and at the end of the game? Because he thought that he had him down with the hit. Listen, this is the playoffs. And so you are not down until you're actually on the ground. But I feel like if he was already on the ground and he went into him like that, then yeah, the flags go up. But that was a football play. It's just people don't like it because we live in this world now where we watch a game that's so violent, but then all of a sudden we want to put rules on the fucking violence. Oh, that's just too violent. The game is violent across the board. It was within the rules because he wasn't necessarily all the way down, but it looked like he was going down. It was within. You can't help that this freak of nature who should have still been playing for the Houston Texans. Could you imagine how much better we would be with Clowney, especially with J.J. Watt coming back? The fact that he did what he was supposed to. There was no flags thrown.
Can you imagine Texas versus Seattle? J.J. Watt on one side, Jadeveon Clowney on the other.
Hey,
but it was you got to be honest though. It was a little extra.
It wasn't extra to me.
It was extra.
It's a football play, man.
It may not be. It was within the lines. It was fair.
If it's within the lines, it can't be extra then.
It was extra.
It can't be extra.
If I see you on the ground going down,
but he wasn't on the ground.
I'm gonna let up a little bit. But that's not me. I'm not Jadeveon Clowney. If I'm Like if I physically see you going down, I'm not gonna just like
He was
make
still
sure
up.
it's gonna be hard for you to get it back.
He was
up.
still up.
No,
He
really.
was still up. Listen. Again, 20 years ago, that would have been praised.
Yeah.
Today, that's just unnecessary roughness. Please, man. Like if you don't like physicality in football, then football's probably not your sport. Go watch tennis.
Well, I don't think it was dirty.
No shout out against tennis. I
don't
like
think it
tennis.
was dirty. At the end of the day, I don't think it was dirty. But Chris, we gotta do the picks. NFC, who you got? First game up, Seattle at Green Bay.
Seattle.
Wow, that easy.
That easy.
Wow. Okay.
I
Don't
just
believe in Aaron Rodgers, huh?
I love Aaron Rodgers. I just think that if it comes down to a shootout, who has more weapons, which I think this was going to turn into, and this is just one of those games, especially in Green Bay, where this is one of those games where Lynch becomes legendary. This is a Lynch game. This is a Russell Wilson Lynch game.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Rodgers has struggled all year long. I think they've improved their defense, but I don't think the defense is good enough to hold if Aaron Rodgers can't score and connect. If that run game can't get past and it becomes a shootout. I mean, Russell Wilson, the most comebacks in the last couple of years. Russell Wilson, he's hungry. Seahawks are hungry, and I think they're hoping that they get to play San Francisco again.
I think if you're Green Bay, I think this is a little bit of fool's gold. I think that Seattle was very, very banged up. Green Bay has the best opportunity to win versus Seattle in this round of the playoffs. So my heart wants to say Green Bay, but my mind is saying Seattle. And also, honestly, when it boils down to it, I honestly think that Seattle's one or two best teams in the NFC. So, to be honest with you, to be a man about my picks, I'm going to say Seattle. Seattle's going to take it. But watch out, Green Bay. If they leave it close at the end, I do believe in Aaron Rodgers more than I do say who came in for Carson Wentz.
I don't remember.
They didn't. It was still within a game.
Hey, John. I wish we had like this button where like if I push it, it would like all of a sudden bullshit.
What?
Let me tell you guys something. John and I both know that the same reasons.
Josh McCown.
The same reasons why I want the Baltimore Ravens to lose against Tennessee is the exact same reasons why he wants the Green Bay Packers to beat the Seattle Seahawks. Because, like myself, as a Houston Texans fan, I don't want to play the Ravens in an AFC championship. And I know John, as a diehard 49ers fan, does not want to play the Seattle Seahawks again in the championship.
That's not true. You say that's bullshit. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I want to see the best of the best, always. And I've even said to this point, to this extent, and I don't know if I brought this up before on the show, but if there's a female out there that's a better basketball player on any NBA 12-man roster, I want her playing. I want to see the best of the best all times, every time. And if Seattle is better than Green Bay, and we're gonna find out Sunday. If Seattle's better than Green Bay, Seattle deserves to be in the NFC Championship game with none other than my man, my team.
Your man? You mean your team?
Yeah. Oh, well, I was talking about Garoppolo.
Yeah, Jesus.
San Francisco 49ers. Chris, you already know my pick. Minnesota at San Francisco. Who you got, sir?
I was looking at stats real fast because I knew that John is and we had a pre-argument before going on camera, before the show started. Now, I think that Minnesota and San Francisco are a lot like in the sense of the way they run the ball. Run the ball.
Chris? Stop doing that.
Because everything is predicated on running the ball. They have, in order for their offenses to excel, they have to be able to run the ball. They both are very quite similar in defenses. I'm looking at the rankings and where they match up with each other. I will say this. It's interesting, because I didn't know this, that Minnesota has a lot more takeaways, and the San Francisco has a lot more giveaways. And I think just so I don't beat around the bush, I'm not picking Minnesota to win the game. I'm picking San Francisco to win.
Yes. Why are you picking San Francisco, Chris?
Because I think they have the best defense in the NFL.
You think they're the two best teams? You said Seattle and San Francisco. You think they're two of the best teams?
I think they're the two best teams, and I think that even though the San Francisco has a better defense than Seattle, it's about matchups, and it's about the will, and I think it's about who has the best quarterback, right? Then we can talk about who has the best quarterback then. But what I'm saying here is that I do say this. Everybody who's a 49ers fan is super pumped up that they don't have to play the New Orleans Saints. And you know what? Respectfully so. If I'm a 49ers fan, I want the easiest pathway to the championship because my defense is that good. I don't want to have to go in another shootout against Drew Brees because the chances are
100%.
Drew Brees
I'm with you.
Drew Brees is probably going to beat us in another second shooter. I'm just saying.
Come on, man. If it goes to overtime, if there's any interference, we're getting the calls. Let's just be honest.
Okay, you're right. You're true.
Thank you.
All right, passing. So
I'll take it.
Richard Sherman just passing interference. It don't matter. There you go.
Yeah.
Anyways,
ask what happened a couple years ago.
This fool here. Anyways, what I'm saying is that a lot of fans and a lot of people are already just doubting the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings won against New Orleans Saints for a reason. They're a team that wants to play in the trenches. They want to be physical. They have Thielen back. They have one of the best running backs in the game, but nobody even wants to mention. I will say this. What I worry about and what you should worry about, and give me my props here making this good point, is that I think that San Francisco is going to come in this game super, super hyped, super excited, super emotional.
Yes.
The problem with that is that they have struggled immensely with penalties and penalty yards. And my thing is that if they come out overzealous, over emotional, and they don't play sound, and this is where I need Richard Sherman to come in and be to keep everybody settled in. Dude, they could lose. They could lose to Minnesota.
No. I'm not saying there's not a possibility, but here's where you're wrong. You're worried about penalties and all this stuff. Cool, whatever. Worry about that. Guess who started this whole pass interference? Not worrying about pass interference, just make the referees call it? That was the Legion of Boom. Guess who the leader essentially was the Legion of Boom? Or if you want to say two of the leaders. One was Earl Thomas, and he's on Baltimore. The other one was Richard Sherman, and he's on San Francisco. So they ain't worried about penalties, Chris.
Okay,
Go ahead. You worry about penalties.
Okay, you have one of the youngest defenses, one of the most youngest defenses right now, but they also have never been in a situation like this. So I've watched teams. We have both watched sports where teams that are that good are so pumped up and so excited that they do stupid stuff. I'm saying that San Francisco has more to lose than Minnesota does. Minnesota was already written off against New Orleans. They beat New Orleans. They're coming into San Francisco playing a team that's young, and they've never been in this situation before. Other than Richard Sherman, Garoppolo's never been in this situation before. And again, takeaways, Minnesota's better in takeaways. So,
but you're okay. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Are you trying to tell me with this takeaway stat, are you trying to tell me that the the Minnesota Vikings defense is better than 49ers defense?
Defenses don't play defenses.
I'm asking you, Chris.
No.
Don't do that.
No, that's
Don't bow down out of the question.
I'm not bound down in the conversation, John. You don't you don't like the fact that I'm saying that Minnesota's defense is good enough to beat the 49ers.
Oh, okay. So you're saying they're good enough.
They're good enough. Is the 49ers defense better than Minnesota Vikings? Yes. But you told me earlier that when it comes to receivers and becomes a running back, that Minnesota has the better players.
Okay.
Okay. So all I'm saying is this, that this is going to be a lot closer
Overall,
game.
I believe that.
This game is going to be
in numbers, not in
this game is going to be a
talents.
lot closer than expected, and I think that if it's extremely close, and we're going into the fourth quarter, and Minnesota has a run game going, San Francisco may be looking at being eliminated in the second round. That's all I'm saying.
Come on, man.
You don't have to like it.
Come on.
You don't have to like it.
You're like.
You're right. Minnesota's garbage, guys. They're garbage. The reason why they beat...
Are you dancing on the fence?
Nah, man. I'm not dancing. I said I'm picking the 49ers based off
But
they
you're
have a better
telling me
defense.
every reason why they're not going to win.
I'm telling you that I'm trying to get you to understand that you, like the 49ers, shouldn't take the Minnesota Vikings as if they're not good enough to beat you. Because they are good enough to beat you.
Any team at that point is...
I don't want to hear that shit, John, because you and I both know that right now, you like your chances better against the Vikings than you did against the Saints.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
And I'll take the Saints again. If Minnesota would have played the Saints one more time, I'll still choose the Saints.
All I'm saying is that this is a game set up to where if the youth movement over there in 49ers don't take this team serious, they could lose. The same way the 49ers lost. So I'm expecting the 49ers to come with their A game, be on all cylinders, not make stupid penalties. Not call stupid turnovers.
But you got to understand one thing too. When you're looking up all these yearly stats and stuff like that, where more turnovers and everything like that, one thing, the team that had the most turnovers in the entire league for the entire year were the Patriots, and look where they're at. The team that started the year second in defensive takeaways was the 49ers, behind the Patriots. But what happened? Quan Alexander is out, who, guess what, is coming back just like J.J. Watt. DeForest Buckner coming back. D. Ford coming back. All these players that they didn't have since the beginning of the year, at least half of the season, where they racked up all these inexperienced penalties that you're talking about, they're coming back to experienced players. So, hey, listen, man, go. I don't care whoever you are. If you're a Vikings fan or what, go ahead and pick the Vikings. But I guarantee you ain't putting money on it. I guarantee you don't really feel in your heart of hearts that the Vikings are going to beat the 49ers. And that's just the God's honest truth.
John, that's your opinion.
Everybody,
man.
no,
there's people that are just as diehard Viking fans right now.
No, I get that.
That are feeling the exact same way about their chances against the 49ers.
Bullshit.
John,
they
you know how other
they
people
hope
feel?
that they can beat the 49ers.
Just like you hope that they're going to beat the Vikings.
No, I have more of a conviction than that. I have more of a conviction than hope because of what I've seen. The eye test, would you watch the 49ers, when you watch the Minnesota Vikings, when you watch the Seattle Seahawks, I think Seattle and the 49ers are the two best teams in the NFC. When it comes down to it, I think that 49ers are the best team in the NFC.
John, you can't have conviction without hope and faith. So you are relying on your faith in the 49ers of what you've seen all year, and you're hoping that they're going to win if you're that convicted. All I'm saying is this. I believe right now that the 49ers are going to beat the Vikings, right? But I'm saying this is not going to be a walk in the park that everybody thinks it's going to be. All I'm saying.
All right, so.
Hey, let me see your nails. I just want to see your nails real fast. Yeah, he's got some nails. It's gonna be a
nail biter?
A nail biter for John. Guarantee it. And I guarantee it that if somehow the 49ers fuck this up, if 49ers fuck up and loses, we're not even gonna have a show Monday because John's gonna be too busy butthurt. We're not gonna be able to do it.
No, I'm man up. I'll say, you know.
No, you won't. No, you won't. Okay. He'll blame everybody.
All right, you know me. So again, Chris got San Francisco. I got San Francisco. Seattle. San Francisco and Seattle are going to meet in the NFC Championship. According to us, Khoa actually stepped out, so we'll have his picks a little later, or if not, after the show, we'll post them on Instagram. Hit us up, man. Let me know some of your opinions, some of your takes. I really want to get at Tony from Houston. My brothers, brother from another mother, all the H-Town, man, represent, baby. Come through with your Houston, Texas picks. We're riding and dying with them. So, of course, I'm a ride and die with San Francisco as well. And my dream is Texans in the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl. That'd be amazing to me.
Who you picking, John?
I'll probably get a jersey like half San Francisco, half Texas.
You can't. That's weak.
Well, when we get there, I'll get there. Like, if we get there, I can't really say if 49ers or the Texans, but
this is San Francisco's #1 podcast, the Sports Trapp podcast.
Don't do that. You over here, Oiler fan. You haven't believed in the Houston Texans all year long. So
I believe in, but I have been on record who I do believe in.
Yeah, that's
who.
Deshaun Watson.
Who's he playing for?
Shut up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Enough said.
Who's the coach?
Bill O'Brien. He's also the concession stand. He's also the guy who cleans the toilets. He's a GM. He's all of the above.
All right. Now, on to a little bit of more somber news, right? The legend, the GOAT, Tom Brady,
Yeah.
TB12.
Yeah.
What does he do next year, man?
He's not playing for New England.
No?
No, not at all. I think he's ready. I think if anything, for him, he wants to show what he can do without Bill Belichick. We all know the last couple of years they have not had a good relationship. They basically have needed each other, but now they're at a point where they don't need each other. Or I think their egos are so big that they feel like they can do it without each other.
That sucks.
It does suck. And there is a chance that Josh McDaniels is probably going to be the coach of the Panthers. I could easily see, that's the rumors. I could easily, this is my prediction. Not only does Tom Brady not come back, but if Josh McDaniels, who he has a great relationship with, goes to the Carolina Panthers, the only issue the Carolina Panthers had was what? Quarterback.
Right.
They have talented receivers and probably the best running back in all of NFL. For somebody like Brady who still has a good enough arm to take their team to a championship, not only that, but the chances are of you getting to possibly play New England and beat New England. I don't know. I think that next year, I think New England plays Panthers.
Really?
That
would be. I mean, it seems apropos.
I just feel like the Eagles are so big, and the way they're speaking about it, you can tell there's such a diss.
It seems weird. It seems weird. It sucks because I think the egos do get in the way of most of the time that's something that's great. I saw it in San Francisco where you had the GM and Jim Harbaugh not get along, and they were such a great team, but their egos couldn't mesh, and it just ended up being what we see, thankfully, with the 49ers, but we had to go through some tough times. Anyways, man, if Tom Brady does leave, I think he's going to L.A., and the reason I say that is
To the Rams?
I don't think the Rams, because they already bought into Jared Goff. I do think that
The Los Angeles Chargers?
yeah,
Why?
because they got talent.
No, not compared to what a team like Carolina has. And it's all about coaching. Listen, Brady has to go to a place where he trusts the offense.
Right.
Josh McDaniels and him are there.
Yeah, but Josh McDaniels already left once to the Denver Broncos. He didn't follow him.
Listen, but if you only leave knowing if you leave, Brady's coming with you.
That's not true. He left already once without Brady.
I know, and he had to come back. Why? Because he didn't have what?
He had Tim Tebow though.
He didn't have. He didn't have a Tom. He had a Tim. You want a Tom? Listen, that whole.
But I mean, you make a good point. I think that Josh Daniels does, give him a little extra motivation to join any team that he. But Josh Daniels is gonna have to go to a team that's almost essentially rebuilding.
But that's just it. Rivera did a great job with the Panthers. He took them to the Super Bowl. But you're only as good as your quarterback play.
Right.
And Cam Newton has been a bust. I know people are going to get so mad about it, but he has such a disinterest in playing football. You can just tell his attitude. Watch his YouTube. He does not care about football anymore.
It doesn't seem like he does.
He's not going to be the quarterback next year. They're going to trade him or they're going to cut him.
Right.
He's going somewhere, probably like Chicago. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there. But if you're Tom Brady, you also have to know you have one maybe shot at this to do this without Belichick, and you want to do it the right. You want to be on a team that has a collective amount of talent
almost
to
like
make your
a
job easier for you.
Peyton Manning situation.
So exactly. So they have a decent defense, but they have spectacular. Just imagine Tom Brady hitting on the check.
I honestly would have loved to have seen Tom Brady on the Dallas Cowboys to see what that would have been like.
Well, you never know, because the only two other teams that I see him possibly going to, honestly, Dak hasn't got his extension.
Exactly. Dak doesn't have a contract.
There's two other teams that I feel like would be in the bid for Brady. Now that McCarthy's a coach, as Brady, you have to be like, that is interesting. The other team that's truly the team that no one's even thinking about is the Las Vegas fucking Raiders.
Oh.
Listen, Gruden is not happy with Carr. He doesn't want Carr. But if
did you see that stat where Carr is the losingest quarterback behind who? David Carr.
Right.
Is it David? Yeah.
Yeah.
David Carr. The Carr brothers are the losing quarterback in the NFL.
Listen, they have a bunch of draft picks. They have a super talented team. They're up and coming, and they have Gruden. They're going to Las Vegas, and I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Like Tom Brady sold his house, right? Moved him to LA. Dude, I feel like he's West Coast bound.
if Josh McDaniels goes to Panthers, that's the number one destination, followed by the Dallas Cowboys, and then of course, I think the Las Vegas Raiders, especially going
That's
to
a
their
good man. That'd be crazy to see.
And then-
Tom Brady in a Raider jersey.
And, I mean,
it'd be crazy to see Tom Brady in any other jersey.
Well, for what we've never seen him in black, and you know how much he would love to be the villain to prove that he can beat and be better than Bill Belichick.
But I also felt like Phillip Rivers, when he did his exit interview, he was crying. He got a little emotional. He kind of knows that his time is near the end, close to the end.
I think the reasons why he doesn't go to the Chargers is because of coaching. Listen, Brady's not stupid.
That's true. That's a good
He's
point.
not stupid. He's gonna go to a place
The
where
last
all
person to
around.
buy homes in L.A. was none other than LeBron James, and guess where he ended up? It ain't the Clippers.
Listen, again, Brady's not coming back. It's the end of a dynasty, and I think both of them, the Eagles, are so big that they want to prove that the other person needed that person to be successful.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's
true.
sad because they were actually soulmates.
I think they could go one more year though.
Absolutely, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Done.
No, and when you have Kraft basically pleading, I hope and pray that God he comes back, that tells me Kraft knows that this shit's over with.
Right. That's true. And also, if you watch his exit interview, Tom Brady's exit interview, he was non-committal at all. You know, we'll see. I don't want to make any decisions now. Why not? Why not? If there's one place you could already make a decision with, it's the New England area.
You know what I don't like? I think Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time, and a lot of times, I know we mentioned it, if you get a chance, watch a documentary with him and Saban, their relationship. But the reasons why Bill Belichick is not a likable person and why there's so many comparisons between Bill Belichick and Nick Saban is, I think the overall comparison and what I agree with is that they both eat, sleep, and shit football. Everything's about football. But the difference is this. Nick Saban can still humble himself by acknowledging the greatness of his players because he knows he's only as good as his players. Bill Belichick had a chance during the press conference to acknowledge how good and how great Brady is by saying, Brady, we want Brady here. He is the foundation of our team. We want him to come back. He didn't do that. All he could say was, I'm not getting into any of that. Because for him, he
chose Garoppolo over Brady.
At the end of the day,
guess where he's at?
Brady and Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick specifically, I think Brady would come back knowing that Bill Belichick would just give him his props and his dues and give him his respect by saying, listen, yes, you're a great coach. I'm a great coach, but you're also a great quarterback. I need you to win one more championship. And that shit ain't coming out of Bill Belichick's mouth.
Yeah.
He is stubborn all the way to the end. And that's why Brady's going to leave. And let me ask you something.
See him retire?
Who, Bill Belichick?
No.
Oh, Brady?
Yeah.
Oh, he's not retiring.
It's funny. He was so non-committal about everything else, but on his retirement, he's like, that's highly unlikely.
Listen, the reasons why he doesn't want to retire is because he wants to prove to
That's
Bill
what
Belichick
I think
he can be
it was
successful.
him, not Bill Belichick.
Exactly. So I will say this. I think Brady leaves, and here's a question. Who next year, if everything plays his cards out right, and Brady leaves and goes for another team, and Bill Belichick has to start it all over again, who will be more successful next year? Will it be Brady? Or will it be Bill Belichick?
Oh, 100% Brady. Like you said, he's not stupid. He's not going to a team that's going to not give him a chance to win a Super Bowl. And I mean, dude, at the end of the day, all the teams that are left, who can you see him go to?
It is time for Bill Belichick, the Sith of the NFL, to eat some fucking humble pie.
What about Chicago? They don't have enough talent.
They don't have enough talent to listen. Brady is going to make the easiest, smartest move, the same way Peyton Manning did.
That's crazy.
I'm telling you, man.
We're talking about
listen, Brady was still slinging them in the game, and it's just receivers couldn't catch nothing.
Now, talking about somebody that maybe maybe can retire. I mean, we never know. But to somebody that's just about to get into the NFL, my man, Chris's number one quarterback coming next year out. Tua, I couldn't say his name.
Tua Tagovailoa.
There we go. He decided
Hawaii 5-0
to make that jump. Now, there's two questions.
Yeah.
I have. Is it the right choice? And do you see him going in the first round?
I do see him going in the first round because even though there's risk, there's a higher reward. Tua is an extremely accurate quarterback, great IQ, but also too, he has that Russell Wilson mentality, just a good person, good teammate. And honestly, there's a lot of people that try to sell faith as a way of marketing, right? But Tua and his family are really, really convicted by their faith in God.
Uh-huh.
And this decision and why it took so long for him to make what we all consider the obvious decision is because...
But apparently he told Saban that Saturday.
But a big reason why it took so long for him is because his family moved. His brother plays for the team. They all moved in because they have all been about the Alabama Crimson Tide. And for Tua, him going out the way he did and not having a chance to play one more time lead to a championship really, really was hurting him. But I think that overall, for the livelihood for him and his very humble, sweet family, going into the draft, even if you get drafted 23rd, 24th, 25th, 18th.
Watch New England.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
Come up.
Listen, Miami, I think, is going to pass. A lot of people are saying Miami with the 4th pick are going to pick him.
So we got Bengals number 1, but everybody's saying Joe Burrow.
He's going to go Joe Burrow.
You got the Redskins number 2. Everybody's saying Chase Young. And you got the other dude from Ohio State going apparently to the Detroit Lions. Now, the Bengals, they're going with Joe Burrow. The Redskins have Dwayne Haskins, who they drafted this year, the rookie this year. So they're building off of him. Detroit got Stafford. Now it gets muddy. You can go with New York Giants. They
got their quarterback already,
right? And then Miami. Miami is a question mark. That's the one that
everyone thinks Miami is going to get him in the what is it? Their 5th pick, right? They're the 5th pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing: anybody that gets Tua has to understand that Tua's not playing next year.
Exactly.
So, are you willing to pick up a quarterback that you may not get him right off the bat? And if you don't get him right off the bat and he can't play, who's playing?
Right.
I think that Miami ends up making a decision.
Fitzpatrick.
Okay, come on now. I think Miami ends up making a decision and not getting Tua.
Who would you go, though?
This is what I think.
You got your running back and wide receiver came out as well.
I think that we'll know for sure if Brady's coming back. New England has draft picks. I would not be surprised if New England even trades up to go and get Tua. That's just a Bill Belichick move, man.
To be honest with you, though, if I'm Miami, there's no other time in the history of the AFC East. It's the East, right? Mm-hmm. That New England's more vulnerable than right now, right? All these question marks. You don't know which way you're gonna move. Maybe by this time, Tom Brady's made that decision, and by all accounts, everything we're hearing, everything that we think, Tom Brady looks like he's on the way out. If the New England Patriots come to me and they say, "Give us your 5th pick, we'll give you 5 picks," I'm like, "Fuck that."
You know they're not gonna do that.
I'm like, hell
I know you're
no.
not gonna do that, but besides the Cleveland Browns, 2 of the worst teams. I say 3. Redskins, Browns, and Miami have done everything they can to continue to lose.
Right.
From coaching to the players that they pick. Mm-hmm. I mean, they traded Fitzpatrick. One of the best safeties in the game.
Minka Fitzpatrick to the Steelers.
They literally, players didn't even want to play last year because they're not ready to win.
Kenny Stills?
I just think Miami is stupid enough to take 3 first-round picks. And guess what? That's nothing to
Bill Belichick. That'd be crazy. And he's one of those that he's willing to wait for Tua. And I think that's the best case scenario for him. And even if he has a chance to play, please God, do not come back after a full year. And as much as I think he's talented, as much as I think he's headstrong, as much as he's riding on his faith and everything like that, just take the year out, study the clipboard. Hopefully you can get to play behind a veteran like somewhat of the ilk of Ryan Fitzpatrick. But I think that Tua is a special talent that one of the most special talents that we've seen in college football. Period. His completion rating is damn near like 80%.
Dude, he's a beast.
Something immaculate, something that it's hardly ever seen. So Joe Burrow, I think, is great. I think Tua coming out this year too gets to avoid. I think with all these question marks in quarterback situations that the NFL has currently, I think Tua is going to be top 10 for sure.
Another team that could easily go and get him if he's there and could trade up too because they have picks. No one's talking about the Indianapolis Colts.
Ooh, and they've come out recently and say that there's sources say that they're not sold on Jacoby.
With that offensive line and the talent that they have, that's all they need is a quarterback. And they don't have to, that's another thing, they don't have to expect Tua to be there right away. I'm looking at teams right now that are like, if we can just get Tua, that in itself is really, really going to help us, especially if we're looking at next year. Indianapolis Colts, and God, man, NFC South, having Tua, Tannehill, Deshaun Watson. Who's that quarterback that plays over in Jacksonville?
Right. At this point,
I don't know, man.
Gardner Minshew had a 2-week run. Hey man, when you get those 15 seconds or 15 minutes, you gotta take advantage. But anyways, so Chris, man, I mean, we went through the NFL, we went through our picks. Got a little Tom Brady news in there, got a little Tua in there. I don't know, you got anything else?
Well, you want to go ahead and make our picks since it is next Monday. National Championship, College National Championship.
Let's do it.
You already know how I feel. I think LSU is filling themselves a little too much. They've been talking a lot of noise. Even we're talking about they want to play the Ravens. Come on,
where they playing? Superdome, right?
They're playing the Super Bowl.
Man,
Superdome.
dude, I will say, that crowd, especially for the Saints, is ridiculous. If they get the LSU crowd in that stadium and it's not all corporate, that's one of the loudest stadiums in the world, bro.
It don't matter.
All right.
Listen, unfortunately, Dabo Swinney is going to have that team ready.
Yeah,
he's going to have that
for
team
sure.
ready.
He ain't there on accident.
He's here to legitimately create a new dynasty, only to leave to create a dynasty, to leave a dynasty in order to take the keys away from one of the existing dynasties. It's already written that Dabo Swinney is going to be the coach of Alabama as soon as Saban leaves. But
when Saban decides to leave?
When he decides to leave, and
he ain't getting fired.
We don't want him. We don't want him to be like what's his face is there to like 80 years old, and he's like, dude, you need to go.
Lou Holtz.
I think Saban has a couple of more years in him, but I think Dabo Swinney, they've been written off. They've been written off the whole year. No one's talked about. No one's giving them respect. He's a national champion. They won last year with a true walk-on freshman in Lawrence, and now he's that much better this year. That was an impressive win against Ohio State, considering that they went down.
Oh, for sure.
I just think that LSU are just feeling themselves too much.
Wow, they laid 60
against a team that's as much as I was cheering for Jalen Hurts. I told you they have no defense. So it honestly goes to show you that if Alabama doesn't lose against Auburn, they're there and it's a way better game, right? Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And everybody, it was so funny. So many people were like, man, damn, we kind of do miss Alabama. Yeah, you're right. You did. Because ain't nobody else would have at least played the game.
Did Alabama ever repeat?
Yeah.
Did they ever? They made two?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think they repeated the first 2 years of the college football playoffs. But
Dabo Swinney's going to take this team.
Dabo Swinney still hasn't He's
There you go.
one loss, one, and now this is
Tony,
man.
man.
I got LSU, man.
You got That's fine. It's gonna be a good game, but I think Dabo Swinney's gonna have these boys on another level.
Joe Burrows is gonna earn his contract right now in this game.
We'll see.
He'll earn that number one pick. Mm-hmm. Hey, I could easily say Trevor Lawrence is gonna earn that number one pick the following year. This game.
I don't even like Trevor Lawrence, but I'm gonna tell you something.
Remember how Tua came in for Jalen Hurts and he essentially earned his number one pick in the draft that the year before?
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen with Trevor Lawrence.
Dabo Swinney and that team is way better than I'm gonna put it this way. Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers are better than the LSU thinks they are. If that makes sense. LSU is LSU is great,
bro.
They think that they are the best team. They think they're so good that Alabama, Crimson Tide's home, is their stadium now.
Oh yeah. Disrespectful.
You can only run your mouth for so much. Right. And my thing is that you also have to teach your team about respect. You know, Nick Saban has always been big about shut up, don't say nothing. Exactly. Don't give a team much motivation. Nothing. You're giving the Clemson Tigers too much motivation. The fact that I think now it's gone up to 8 or 9 points now.
Whoa.
I think
LSU favored?
Yes.
Jeez.
I think that's just fire. So
go to the fire.
I got Clemson winning this.
Man, like I said, they ain't there on accident, and that's gonna be a good game.
Telling you.
Good. I think you know what. At the end of the day, you got the two, and that's all I've ever asked for college football. You get the two best teams playing for the national championship game. Period. And I think we got it this year.
I think we've been getting it every year.
Yeah. I think it works.
For everyone that hates it, that it's a 4-man team, there's a lot of teams that don't make the playoffs, and people are like they should make the teams, but they shouldn't be in the playoffs. Hey, it is what it is. Every year we've gotten the two best teams. And you don't have to like it sometimes as two SEC teams. Grow the fuck up. Unfortunately, SEC's been that good. It is what it is. That's all I got to say about that. Roll Tide Roll.
This is the Sports Trapp Podcast, and my name is John Trapp. Christopher C. Rodriguez. Man, I think this makes do it, H-Town. Till next time, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to us go back and forth. Try to just give you an entertaining show. Try to be the number one sports podcast in all of Houston, representing H-Town always. And give us, just trying to give you our truths. You know, at the end of the day, I think we try to give another voice to Houston and Texas and represent y'all well. Because, like I said last week, man, we get a little no love from the old folks coming down the pipe and all these Cowboy fans, man. Ugh.
Can I say one last thing?
What's up?
I just want to look in the camera real fast, and I just want to say this. Houston, we have never, ever, ever, since the birth of the Texans, have ever had a true franchise, decade-defining quarterback. We finally have that in Deshaun Watson. And regardless of the criticism that Bill O'Brien has received from everybody, including myself, like his teammates, believe as long as Deshaun Watson is on the field, that anything can happen. And when you have that type of player and you have that type of person that not only has the talent, but also has the mindset that wants to be Michael Jordan, special things happen. I'm not trying to gas anybody up, and I'm not trying to say this is the year for the Texans. But I will say this. If there's ever been a fucking year for the Houston Texans to walk in there in an uninvited event, no one in their right minds is picking the Houston Texans to go to the Super Bowl. If there's ever been a year, especially the one that we had with the Houston Astros, especially going in 2020, this is the year to at least believe in one person. Matter of fact, not just Deshaun Watson, but J.J. Watt, to lead us. You only need talent and a little bit of luck to get to the big championship. Maybe, just maybe, this year is the year that we finally know what it's like to be in the Super Bowl. All I'm saying is this. Houston, stand up this coming Sunday. Make sure wherever you're at, you're cheering and screaming and having your fingers crossed and really, really taking the time to appreciate what we have in Deshaun Watson.
Yes, sir. Christopher C. Rodriguez. Speak your truth. Bulls on parade. Check out these Houston Texans as we do it big. As always, A-Sound, stand up. Peace. I'm out.